Hello everyone. Today I will be doing the fifth project in the Arduino starter kit. It's titled MuteQ, and it's going to be using a potentiometer and a servo motor to point out what sort of a mood you're in that day. So let's get right into it. So first off, you're going to need a servo motor, which is contained in the starter kit. So it looks like this guy. Now, the important distinction of this is that there's 3 wires, a white, red, and a black wire. So you'll need to pay attention to that when you're setting it up. We also have these male header pins so that we can put it in the female pins of the servo motor wires, like so, and then we can connect it to our circuit. Next, we need our potentiometer, which is this guy. He hooks up into this piece, like so. Just like that. And what this does is it basically, as you turn it, as you rotate it, you're letting in a certain amount of voltage through. So you can use that to determine various things. Cool. And we also are going to need 200 microfarad capacitors. And what's important about these is that there's one side with the strip here, and that side with the strip refers to the cathode side, and then the other end is the anode. So the anode must go to power and the cathode must go to ground. If you do it backwards, it could blow up, which is not optimal. So be careful with that. So I'm going to start constructing the circuit then. Let's start with the potentiometer. So that's in. And then we are going to connect this capacitor here. So my cathode side's on this side. So that guy's in. Now, since I put the cathode on this side, I will need to connect that side to ground, and then the other side will go to power. Actually, let's flip this around. Like this. So then now this side goes to ground. So I'm just pulling out my smaller wires. And let's do that. So this side, power. Okay, that wire's not going to reach. This side to ground. Cool. Then the anode side goes to power. So cool. So our potentiometer is set up. Almost set up. So this potentiometer has a middle pin right here. So we're gonna need to connect that to our Arduino. So go here, middle pin, then I'm going to connect it to the analog here. Okay, this wire is not long enough. Wire. There. Like so. Focus. Okay, cool. Next, we will have to set up the servo motor. So once again, there are 3 colors of wires. We need to make sure that we do it in the right orientation. So first, let's also input our male pin headers. Then, so it doesn't really stay in, so what I would recommend actually is putting them into the board first, the breadboard, like so, and then pushing down on like so with the, so kind of get it in there at first, and then you push down. Yeah, push down. You kind of have to push kind of hard for it to get through, but then it makes a very nice connection. Just back in focus. Okay. Okay. Now that we've got our servo motor connected, now we can connect it to power. So black is ground and red is power. So keeping that in mind, let's do our connections. Okay, so black is ground, red is power. So do that. So the black one is this furthest in to the left. Let's good, and then let's connect where it's not gonna work. Red, which is the far side, the other end, power. Okay, and then white is our input pin, or the pin that's going to tell your Arduino what to do. So now that we know the white pin is going to connect to the board, do that. Put this in. The white is the middle. Then we're going to connect this to digital pin 9. So and then lastly, we need to put the capacitor in. So remember, this side with the stripe is the cathode. So we need to put the cathode to ground and the anode to power. So let's do that. So do that guy's in. Awesome. So last step before we can get into the coding is they give you this little bag with the servo, and then you can get like this little arm attachment and just put it in. So now when the servo rotates, it has something like an arm. which is useful. So we'll do this. Cool. So now let's get into the code part. So let me switch scenes, open up my Arduino editor. So let's see. I want to do a new sketch. Okay, and I want to hide one of these window captures. Like so. Okay, let's get right into that. So first off, we are going to need to include, by using #include, the servo library, which is just servo.h, capital S. So what this means is now we can access different functions that we previously could not access by including it into our code. So let's do that. And then next we will use servo, my servo. So this is just declaring our servo and how to refer to it. So it's creating an object. Next we will set up our pins, declare our pins, so constant, and then this is potentiometer pin equals A0 as we connect it to A0. Next we will set up our value, and we will also declare our angle, because we're going to need to use a value for the potentiometer, and we're going to need to use an angle for the servo. Now in the setup, we will be using the function attach. So my servo, the object, dot attach the function, and then the pin 9. So that's basically just declaring that our servo is working through pin 9. And then since we are going to also use the serial monitor, we must do serial.begin 9600. And then going into the loop, we are going to do that the potentiometer value is equal to analog read, and then we put it into pin A0 or hot pin. So we will do that. Next we will serial print that value. So pot pin pot val equals or pot value, like so. Serial.print, and then pot val. Cool. Next we'll do angle equals, so we're going to use this function called map, which basically creates a value that we could use for the servo motor using our inputs. So what we can do is we're going to read in our potential value, our pot value, and then we're going to map it from between 0 and 1023 which are the potentiometer values, and then we are going to put it between values of 0 and 179. So this basically, the angle of the servo goes from 0 to 180, and then the potentiometer values go from 0 to, I guess, 1024. So we want to take the values of this that are between 0 and 1023 and change them to be values between 0 and 180 so that we could use it with our servo. So after that, we will just serial print and we are going to say angle. Let's do tab so then we have some space between the two lines. And then serial, since this is the last thing that we are going to print, we do new line, serial print ln. So and lastly, now that we have our remapped value, we do myServo.write. So we are writing to myServo the value angle. And then we add a quick delay just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And that's it for the code. So let's save this. Project 5. And let's plug this in, upload it, and see what happens. So, let me change back to this. Find a space where it actually shows up. Okay, and one of these windows I want to hide. Or what I want to do is pull open the serial monitor and I want that to show up instead. So now the serial monitor we should be able to turn this, and something's supposed to happen. Okay. Something's not working. Trying to figure out what's happening here. Maybe there's a line of code that I missed. The motor is moving. Okay, I think I know what happened. I didn't upload the code onto the board. Okay, so we are reading angles and values, so let's try turn this. So I turn this down and then now it moves. So depending on how I turn this, the angle changes. So I'm just turning the potentiometer and then the angle is changing. Being a little finicky. But it is working. Yeah. That's about it for this project. let's see if there's anything else that they talk about in the book. Yeah, so you can use things like this, like the potentiometer you can use to like toggle like a light, like if you turn it up then the light turns on brighter, things like that. And the servo motor can be used for various things, like you could even get like a constantly rotating servo motor. This one just sets to a special angle, a certain angle, and then stays there. But there's ones that actually constantly rotate, so like those could be used for like wheels to like make something move. Whereas these are just used to just put something in place. Yeah, that's it for this project. Thank you for watching the 5th part of my Arduino starter kit series. That was taken from the stream I did on Tuesday, and I also did part 6 today on my stream, so look forward to that coming out probably next Tuesday. And I'll also be doing a different stream on Tuesday where I'm going to revisit some of the older projects and try and play around with some of the circuit elements that we used in those projects to try and do a interesting project. So I'm still thinking of ideas in my head, but yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and please like and follow and subscribe if this is interesting to you. Thank you.